Hello and welcome to a guide on the GT4 car in iRacing. It's a car that's not especially easy to get to grips with at first, because it's quite low grip, and so hopefully some of the advice in this guide can help. This lap's taken from Daytona, and the first thing I want to break down is the braking to get used to in this car, because in a lot of cars on iRacing you have to be quite light and quite smooth on the brake, and you can see in this brake trace on the screen that we're only using about 60% of the total braking input. A little bit because we're turning for turn 1 at Daytona, but also certainly with the GT4 car, it doesn't respond very well at all to going in on the ABS and getting the weight off the front wheels again. Really you want to be loading the car up on the front axle, and when you're triggering the ABS, trying to go into the corner, you're kind of taking the weight back off the front axle, which causes a lot of understeer, and that's quite subtle in iRacing to get used to. So the first thing to note is that we're quite light on the brakes compared to some of the higher downforce, higher grip cars. And the other thing is you can see on my trace here that I've got a sort of slow gradient to the braking trace, but it's possible to be even smoother than this in terms of your initial application from 0 to 100 makes quite a big difference in terms of how the car responds. This isn't like a high-powered, high downforce aero monster, so being quite smooth on that first input can make quite a big difference to how the car actually responds through the braking zone. You can see from this graph that I'm a little bit hesitant as to where the limit of the ABS is, and that's where the modulation's coming in, but ideally you want to be as close to a flat horizontal line right at the limit of the ABS as you can get, and that will be the difference between confidence, more laps in the simulator, as to how confident you are in getting right up to that limit. The only other thing to note really is the way you time your gear shifts will make a difference in terms of how much rotation you want to get on the car, but all of that is kind of in service of getting down to this speed. The main thing we want to work on in this car is just making sure that we're at our turning point at the corner. We can see in the bottom right we've kind of got all the speed off that we need to, and we're not pushing on too deep with understeer, because that is where this car really falls foul. Okay, so moving through turn 1 here, we can see we pick the car into second gear, and then as we start to turn the car, we reduce our trail braking quite a lot, so we're just down to 5% or so braking. Into the next corner, again, we're a little unsure of where the braking is, but you can see we're kind of quite light on the brakes, and then as soon as we start turning the wheel at all, we're bringing that brake trace right down just to do a little bit of trail braking to get the car through the turn. Flat all the way through to this next horseshoe now, and you can see we get a little bit of a twitch on with the rear end trying to step out on us, but I think again just trying to nicely bring the car down to speed as we head into this will make a massive difference to getting the car underneath you. Setting ourselves up nicely onto the back straight now with a long run down to the next corner, so we're down into a low gear to get us onto the back straight. And then it's flat all the way down to the bus stop, so it makes a massive difference the speed you're able to carry on to here, and making sure that you're not wheel spinning or sliding on the exit. And then the bus stop is a difficult one with not a huge amount of grip. We can be a little bit harder on the brakes because we're going quite fast. We've got a little bit of downforce working for us, but you can see you have to have a kind of second go at slowing the car down once you've made that first brake. The corner tightens up on you quite a lot before you can get back out onto the final banked curve and running it all the way down to the line. And with all of that, we're back up towards the line. Thank you for watching this track guide. I hope you found it useful on getting to grips with the GT4 car in iRacing, and I will see you in the next video.